Okay, so today we'll start with one more software development model, that is nothing but a spiral model. Previously, we have already discussed about waterfall model. Correct, right? Okay. So previously we have discussed about waterfall model. Today we'll try to understand what is spiral model. Okay. So here, I think you are able to see the diagram of spiral model, right? Means how it looks like. So we'll try to understand it very precisely. Okay. So here you are able to see mainly four phases in this model. First one is planning. Second is risk analysis. Third one is engineering and execution. And fourth one is evaluation. Correct? There are total four phases. Okay. So in the planning, here, if you consider this phase, first phase, here, as a part of planning, we are having requirement analysis. Means here spiral starts, or this starts from here. Okay, this starts from here. Okay, so here first phase is requirement analysis. Requirement analysis is nothing but the same thing. The person from the software industry, already as we know, business analyst will go to client. Business analyst will go to client, and they will discuss each other. Means client will explain their business requirements to the BA, means business analyst. Then he will try to clarify the doubts, means whatever the business analyst is having on the requirements or the business requirements explained by the given by the client. And after all the discussion, business analyst will come to know the client's requirement, and he will try to document all those requirements as a requirement document. Correct? Okay. So here, after documenting the business requirements given by the client, so here the feasibility study also happens. Means once there is a requirement document available, then internally in the software industry, they are going to understand whether these requirements we are able to develop or implement within a budget time and the resources whatever we are having. Okay, so that feasibility study happens. Okay, then after this, the next phase will be risk analysis. Risk analysis is nothing but here there will be means this risk analysis part will be having design part. Okay, design part is nothing but here in this model they are going for the prototype. Means previously we already understand HLD and LLD, low level design and high level design. Okay, so the means in design what happens, the business requirements or the requirements documented by the BA, means business analyst, will be converted into some pictorial model to understand it better in a clean way, right? So here some industries or some companies may go for HLD and LLD. Some companies may go for the prototype model. Prototype model is nothing but the same thing. The term is varying here. Prototype is nothing but a static design of the application. As we previously discussed, if you consider login page, this is the design, or you can call it as a prototype. It is non-executable design, means here it will be having just a static page. Here we are able to see all those things, means whatever need to be part of this login page. And by looking at this page or this design or this prototype, all the people who are all working in the project may come to know what exactly the customer requirement is. Correct, right? Okay, so this is nothing but a prototype, okay, or design. So after this, the next step is development and testing. It's the same thing here. After going through the requirement document as well as the design document or prototype, development team will come to know the clear understanding of the, or they are able to understand clearly what is the requirement of the client, so that they will try to develop or code. Okay, so yeah, this is nothing but coding or development or implementation. Then once development is done, the same product or the implemented feature will be given to the testing team, so that testing team will try to verify or validate the feature or the model or the product developed by the development team, whether it is working according to the requirement given by the client, or whether it is satisfying the client requirement or customer requirement or not. Okay, so here testing is done. Okay, once testing is done, if it looks good, okay, then it will be given to the customer. Okay, means that feature will be given to the customer for the verification, or you can call it as a evaluation. Evaluation in the sense, now in the software industry, means already we developed the product or that feature, then tested, and we ensured like this model or this feature is working fine, then it will be delivered to the customer, so that customer will evaluate that feature. So if customer satisfied with that feature, means he thinks like, or he feels like the model or the feature given by the software industry is fine for his requirement or his business, then he can say like this is perfect. Okay, whatever the feature he got is perfect. Okay, so that now model 1 is completed. Here you can say model 1, or you can say it is a feature 1 is completed. Okay, so it came all the way from requirement analysis, next risk analysis or prototyping, next development and testing, then evaluation, right? So these steps are completed for this model. Okay, and I want to mention one more thing here, is why this phase name is risk analysis. Risk analysis means here we are going to take care of the risk, means after prototyping, if this requirement or this design is given to the development, and development team implement this one, and testing team will test that requirement or that feature, then it will be given to the customer, right? So when it is given to the customer, then if there is a problem, or if customer is not satisfied with the feature or model given, okay, then what is the next plan? So what is the mitigation plan for that feature or that particular model, whatever already released to the customer, but customer is not satisfied, you want some modifications, or you want some additions, or some, what do you call, corrections in that model or that feature. Okay, so for that type of risk, we are going to have some secondary plan, or you can call it as a mitigation plan. Okay, so mitigation plan. So if customer is satisfied with this model, then everything is good. If customer is not satisfied, then we need to again reiterate the same model or same feature again through requirement analysis, prototyping, development and testing. Then again it will be given to the customer. So it will be repeated. This whole cycle will be getting repeated. Okay. So for that type of risk, we will be having some risk analysis or mitigation plan. Okay. And next one is for now we can assume like model 1 is perfect and customer is not having any queries or any questions, or you don't want any what you call changes in the model 1. Okay, then next what happens is we are going to means customer is going to give the requirements, that is model 2 requirements. Okay, so now customer is given some requirements, that is model 2 or future 2 requirements. The same thing here, BA will collect all those requirements and feasibility study will be done. Then after feasibility study, we are going to design, means we are going to convert those requirements into some prototype or some design. Okay, after that again it will be, means here we are going to plan for mitigation plan, means we are going to have some mitigation plan or secondary plan if it goes wrong. Okay, then this design will be given to the development and testing, means development team will be implementing the second feature or second model. Then it will be given to the testing team is going to verify the second model. Okay, then again it will be given to, means model 2 will be given to the customer for the evaluation. So if customer satisfies with the model 2 implementation, then again he will give the requirement for model 3. So this thing means these phases will be happening or repeating again and again for the modules incrementally. Means first for model 1, next for model 2, next for model 3, and it continues. Okay, so this spiral model is called as a incremental model. Means this will be used for the projects where there are features depends upon another feature. Okay, so here model 1 is first implemented and model 2 is implemented next. Means here before going for the model 2, we need to have model 1, and after that we can implement the model 2 and we can integrate between these two. When model 1 and model 2 are available, then we can go for the model 3 implementation. Then we can integrate model 3 with model 2 and model 1. Okay, so this is how spiral model works. Okay, so I think you people understood this one. Here each and every cycle repeats for each and every feature or module. Okay, once one module is completed, then we'll go for the next module. And if second module is completed, then we'll go for the further module. Okay, so this process repeats for each and every module. Okay, so here the positive thing is we'll be having some risk analysis phase. Means we'll be having the secondary plan or mitigation plan for the unseen risks. Okay, so if something happens bad, then what is the step to resolve that? Okay, that type of plan, risk analysis plan will be there. Okay, so that is one of the advantage of spiral model. Okay, so So as already you know, there will be some advantages and disadvantages for each and every model. So we'll try to understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of spiral model. Okay. So before going for advantages and disadvantages, so let us see where we can use this spiral model, or for which type of projects spiral model is best suitable. Okay. When costs and risk evaluation is important, means if you consider any project, that time if you want to understand what is the cost and what is the risk, okay, and you want to assess those cost and risk things, then for that type of projects you can prefer spiral model. Okay, for medium to high projects, means if the projects are medium and high in risk, okay, then means if they are having high and medium risks, then you can go for the spiral model, as we are having a specific phase called risk analysis in spiral model. Okay. Next, long-term project commitment unwise, means this is best suitable for the project where there is no long-term commitment, and depending upon the priorities and potential changes, we can change the plan. Okay, so for that type of what you call projects, we can go for the spiral model. Next, users are unsure of their needs. Okay, sometimes what happens, if some customers are going to run the business that is very new to them, that in that type of scenario, even customers or clients may not have clear idea of their needs. Okay, even they will be having some ambiguity or what do you call it, some confusions in their requirements. Okay, so for that type of project, you can choose spiral model. Next, the requirements are complex. When the requirements are complex, then you can go for the spiral model, since we are implementing the features one by one in the spiral model instead of going for entire entire functionality of that project. Okay, so that it is best suitable for the complex requirements related projects. Okay, and new product line in the sense the same thing, means for example, if the customer is going to implement their new business and they are not sure about their requirements, then you can go for the spiral model. Okay, if the customer is already having their business and they are going to improve their business, then they will be having clear idea, means what should be added or what should be removed and what should be updated, right? That time you can go for the waterfall model, like software development life cycle. Okay, if the product line is very new for the customer, then this is the best suitable one, in spiral model you can prefer. Significant changes are expected, the same thing. If the changes changes are expected for the requirements again and again or frequently, then you can go for the spiral model. Okay, for example, how this is best suitable for significant changes in the requirements, means here, for example, already we discussed, right, model 1. Okay, model 1 is implemented, means requirement analysis is done, prototyping is done, development and testing done, and then we are giving the model 1 to the customer evaluation. If customer feels like there should be some changes in the requirements for model 1, then easily we can accommodate those changes for the model 1 here, so that we can again get the refined requirements or updated requirements for the model 1, and accordingly we are going to design and develop and test, and again we are going to give that to the customer evaluation. So here there is no restriction in the changing the requirements, means even though there are requirements changing going to happen in between, then we can accommodate them after completion of the customer evaluation. But the restriction here is we are not going to entertain the requirement changes in the middle of the cycle. Okay. Once requirement is collected and analyzed and feasibility study is done, and next we need to go for the prototype development testing, then we give that to the customer evaluation. If customer is having any concerns, then they can define the new requirements or updated requirements, then we can take them here and we can again repeat the process. Okay, so if the requirements are going to change frequently, then we can use the spiral model. Okay. Next, advantages of spiral model. So what are the advantages of spiral model? Okay, high amount of risk analysis, hence avoidance of risk is enhanced. Okay, here since we are having risk analysis phase, if there are any risks, then we can solve them easily. Okay, as already we will be having advanced risk analysis plan, or we can call it as a mitigation plan or secondary plan. Okay, so this is one of the main advantages. Next is good for large and mission critical projects. If there are large projects and those are mission critical is nothing but real time projects. If I developed some feature and given to the customer, then customer feels like it will be given to the audience, some what you call limited audience, so that when limited audience play through that feature, if they found that is not suitable for their what you call need, then immediately they can change the requirement or they can update the requirement. Okay, so this is suitable for that type of project. Next, strong approval and documentation control. Here, in each and every phase, we'll be having documentation and strong approval. Approval in the sense, once you develop some feature, for example, module 1, it will be given to the customer for the evaluation, right? So that here, there is a customer approval for each and every feature or each and every phase. Okay. What you call? If model 1 is implemented, it should be approved by the customer. I mean, customer is going to evaluate, right? So if it is okay for the customer, then only we can proceed for next module. Otherwise, again, it will be updated and again it will be given to the customer and again customer will review. If he satisfies, then only we can go for the next model. So that here strong approval procedure is there from the customer. Next, additional functionality can be added at a later date. As already we understood, this is the incremental model. You can always have a space or possibility to add additional functionality. I mean, once you develop model 1 means it is not final or it is not the end, right? Again, in the next cycle, you are going to implement model 2. And again, after completion of this cycle for model 2, then again you can implement or you can add model 3. So that you can add the additional functionality at the later date, means after completion of some cycles. Okay, that is possible here. Okay, software is produced early in the software life cycle. So here we are developing model by model or feature by feature, so that it may not take much time to implement individual models, so that at the earlier stages or in small amount of time, we are able to deliver the feature to the customer or the client. Okay, no need to wait for to implement all the models once and then it will be delivered to the customer. It is not like that, right? So model by means once you implement one model or one feature, it will be given to the customer, so that customer is able to go through that model and they are able to give their feedback. If they want some changes, they can again ask the software industry to change them. Okay, so this is one of the advantages. Next, means for each and every model, there will be some limitations or some disadvantages, right? So here also spiral model is having some limitations. Okay. The first thing is can be costly model to use. as you know, means each and every model will go through the entire cycle, okay, and it includes risk analysis and all, okay. So this model is mostly having additional cost, okay, as compared to waterfall model, okay. Risk analysis requires highly specific expertise. Yes, this point is correct. Means, as you see, there is a phase called risk analysis, right? Okay, so risk is nothing but the problem that may occur in the future or in the future. Okay, so there is no guarantee like that risk is going to happen or not, but it may happen. Okay, so to predict the risk, possible risk, we need expertise. Okay, means there should be a person to analyze that type of risks that may come in the future. Okay, they should have some expertise. Okay, then only they can predict what type of risk may occur in the future. Okay, next, project success is highly dependent on the risk analysis phase. Exactly, means if there is a proper risk analysis, then only project may get the success. Okay, means if something happens, something bad happens, or some risk comes in the future, then there should be a proper mitigation plan or risk solving plan. Then only we can achieve success in this type of project. Otherwise, it will fail. Means you thought like I have a plan one, if some risk one comes in the future, but when really risk one comes, then if you apply this plan, if it will not work, then your project will fail. Okay, so the project success is highly depends upon the risk analysis phase. Means we should have proper risk analysis and proper mitigation plan for the risk that may occur or that may come into picture in the future. Yes, next, doesn't work well for smaller projects. It is not suitable for the smaller projects. Already you know. Okay, so it is costlier, so that there is no use of this spiral model for smaller projects. Okay, if there are complex and long run projects, then you can go for the spiral model. Otherwise, you can follow the simplest model, that is waterfall model for the smaller projects. Okay, this is all about spiral model. Next, we'll try to understand one more software development model, that is V and V model. As the name itself says, V and V model. V, first V, we can call it as a verification, and second V, it denotes validation. Means this V and V model is nothing but verification and validation model. Okay, verification and validation model. Let us understand how it will work. Okay, how it works. So the common thing is, already you people know, whenever you consider any software industry, there will be a BA, business analyst. They will go to customer or client. Okay, so client will explain their business, what you call, customer requirements or their requirements to the business analyst, and business analyst will document those requirements as a CRS, customer requirement specification. Okay, CRS is nothing but customer requirement specification. So customer requirement specification is done by the BA. Then it will be given to the developers, okay, or development team, including project manager. So these CRS will be converted into specific business requirements, or it will be converted, CRS will be converted into BRS. BRS is nothing but a business requirement specification. Business requirement specification. Okay. So business requirement specification will be done by the development team, by looking at CRS. Okay, so CRS will be converted into business requirement specification, BRS. Okay, so this is developer cycles and this is tester cycle. This part is testers. Okay, this part is developers. Okay, so when developer converts customer requirement specification into business requirement specification, the parallelly what happens? Testers will try to develop acceptance plan. Okay, they will try to develop acceptance plan and they will try to write the acceptance test case, or you can call it as a user acceptance plan and user acceptance test case. I think you people are able to understand. Once business analyst collects the requirements from the client or the customer, those are documented as a customer requirement specification. Once customer requirement specification document is ready, it will be given to the development team. By going through the customer requirement specification, development team, what they will do, they will convert them into BRS. BRS is nothing but a business requirement specification. Okay, while developers are converting CRS into business requirement specification, parallelly tester, okay, testing people, what they will do, they will try to generate user acceptance plan and they will try to write the user acceptance test cases, as well as they will review the business requirement specification. Okay, what they will do, they will try to review the business requirement specification by comparing with the customer requirement specification. If there is any bug or error, or there is no proper conversion from CRS to BRS, then the testing team will inform that to the development team. Again, development team will try to make it proper. Okay, so that's how the first phase works. Next, again, developers will try to convert this business requirement specification, BRS, into system requirement specification. Means they will try to convert them into SRS. Okay, first is CRS, customer requirement specification, that will be converted into business requirement specification. Once it is done, then the same BRS will be converted into SRS. SRS means system specific requirement or system requirement specification. Okay, that will be done by the development team. When development team is doing this task or this work, converting BRS into SRS, parallelly testing team will be doing system integration test planning. Okay, they are trying to do system integration test planning document and they are trying to write the system integration test cases. System integration test cases. Okay, and again, along with this, they are going to review the system requirement specification with the business requirement specification. And again, if there are any errors or bugs or any ambiguity, then it will be communicated to the development team. Again, development team will be updating the SRS according to the business requirement specification. Okay. Next phase is the same thing. Development team will again convert these SRS into high-level design. As already we know, the requirement will be converted into some design so that the people who work in the project may get better understanding of the requirements or clear-cut idea of the requirements of the client or customer. So here also the same thing happens. After SRS, the development team is trying to convert that SRS document into high-level design. Okay, means pictorial representation. Okay, so I think you people already understand what is this design, right? High-level design. So the same thing happens here. When development team is converting SRS into HLD, then parallelly testing team will be developing component testing plan, or you can call it as a functional testing plan. You can call it as a functional testing plan or component testing plan. And along with that, they will try to they will write functional test cases or component test cases. It is better to call it as a functional test case. Functional test case will be prepared by the testing team, and also they will review the high level design whether that is perfect with the SRS. Means they will compare high level design with the system requirement specification. If anything wrong, then it will be communicated to the development team, and development team again they will change the high level design accordingly. Okay. Next, development team again they will try to convert HLD into LLD. LLD is nothing but a low level design. Okay, this high level design will be converted into low level design. For example, if you consider this as a high level design, username, password, and login button. Okay, so this is high level. By looking at this, you will come to know like there will be a page called login page. It will be having three objects: username, password, and login. User can enter username, password, then user can click on the login button so that they can log in into the application. Okay, by looking at this, you are able to understand high level. But you need low level details also, right? Username means when you want to enter the username, then what are the criteria you should follow, and when you are entering the password, then what are the criteria you should follow. Okay, that type of low level details will be documented in the low level design document. Okay, so when developer is converting high level design into low level design, testing team will be trying to have unit test case, unit test plan, as well as unit test case. Okay, this unit test plan and unit test case will be developed by specifically white box testers. Okay, white box testers. But almost all the companies may not have separate white box testers. So these unit test cases or unit test plan will be done by the development team only. Okay, so it depends. Some companies may have separate white box testers for this, or in some companies the developers itself they can develop user what you call unit test case and unit test plan. Okay, so once it is ready, then actual coding will be done by the development team. Okay, once coding is done or implementation is done, then unit testing will be done by using unit test cases. Okay, already unit test cases are ready. Those are developed by either white box testers or developers itself by going through the unit test cases. They are going to do unit testing. Okay, once unit testing is completed and it is successful, then system testing or component testing means testing team they will be having already functional test cases ready, so they will try to execute those functional test cases and they will perform the functional testing. Okay, then after functional testing, if functional testing is completed and everything is working fine, then they will go for the system integration testing. System integration testing will be done by looking at the system integration test cases. Already system integration test cases are ready. Okay, so they will try to execute those test cases and they will perform the system integration testing. If it is completed, then they will go for the acceptance or user acceptance testing by going through the user acceptance testing test cases. Okay, already user acceptance test cases are ready. Okay, so by following the user acceptance test cases procedures or steps, they will execute the user acceptance testing phase. Okay, so this is all about V and V model. Okay, the picture itself looking like a V means it is in V shape, right? This is in V shape. So that we are calling it as a V and V model. And again, the meaning here is not only the appearance of the model, but also it is having verification and validation in each and every step. CRS will be converted into BRS and it will be verified by the testing team whether that is perfect or not. And again, when BRS is converted into SRS, again it will be reviewed by the or verified by the testing team. When SRS is converted into high level design, again it will be verified by the testing team. So that in each and every phase there is a verification. After verification is done, they are going to validate the software or the product, whether it is working fine or it is behaving in accordance with the requirement given by the client or not, or the customer or not. Okay, so that is nothing but validation. This what you call model is having both verification and validation process, so that we can call it as a V and V model. Got it? Okay, so we understood what are the phases involved in the V and V model. Then let us see where V and V model is best suitable. Okay. So the V-shaped model should be used for small to medium. Means this is suitable for the small to medium-sized projects where requirements are clearly defined and fixed. Okay, means requirements are very clear and those are not going to change again and again, and the project is small or medium, then we can definitely go for V and V model. There is no doubt. Okay. Next, the V-shaped model should be chosen when ample technical resources are available with the needed technical expertise. Means if you want to follow or if you want to adopt this V and V model, then there should be a people with the proper technical expertise in the team. Okay, then only this model is suitable. Otherwise, no need to go for this model. Okay. Next, we'll go for advantages of the V and V model, or we can simply call it as a V model. It is simple and easy to use. Okay, as you know, this is very simple and easy to use. And it involves testing activities like planning, design, everything before coding. Means before going for the coding, actual coding, all the things means planning and test design is completed. You know, right? Here, coding is started here. Okay, but in the first phase itself, we have user and means we are having a user acceptance plan and user acceptance test case. And here we are having system integration test plan and system integration test case. And in this phase already we have system or functional test plan or component test plan and functional test case. And here already we are having unit test plan and unit test case. So before going for actual coding only, we are having all type of test cases and test plans. Okay, that is one of the big advantage of the V model. Okay, next, proactive defect tracking. That is defects are found at early stage. Means here it is not reactive. It is known as a proactive. Proactive means after coding, then if you test the component or the feature, then if you get the error, it will be informed to the development team and it will be resolved, right? That is nothing but reactive. Here this is proactive. Proactive in the sense from the first phase itself, means from the requirement phase itself, requirement collection phase itself, we are going to review the things and we are trying to identify the defects or bugs or errors there, and we are trying to communicate that to the development team so that then and there itself it will be corrected. Okay, in the early stages itself. So this is one of the advantages. Next, avoids the downward flow of the defects. Means the same thing. If you consider this here, if some error is there in this BRS, and we are not going to verify or review these business requirements, then this defect will move to next phase. And again, the same defect, if it is not reviewed here, then again it will be moved to high level design, then move to low level design, then move to coding. So this downward flow of the defect or bug or error is not happening in this V and V model. Here itself, if you found a bug, means this business requirement specification will be reviewed by the testers, right? So that they will find the bug here and they will try to remove this bug, okay, by communicating that to the development team. Okay, so in each and every phase, we are trying to identify the defects, possible defects, and we are trying to correct or remove those defects so that there is no way to flow the bugs downward till the coding. Okay, so that is one of the plus of this V and V model. Okay, and as already we have discussed, this is best suitable for these small projects where requirements are understood easily. Okay, means if the requirements are easily understood and the project size is small, then you can definitely go for V model. Let us see what are the limitations of or disadvantages of the V model. This is very rigid and least flexible. Means it is very rigid, means here we are not allowing any new requirements in the middle of the cycle or in the middle of the what you call work. Okay, so if there is a new requirement, then you need to follow all these phases like CRS to BRS, BRS to SRS, SRS to HLD, HLD to LLD, then coding, then testing. So that this is very rigid and least flexible. Okay, next. Here, there is no way to get the what you call feature in the middle or in the early phases. Okay, you need to follow all the phases, then only you are able to produce some features to the customer. You need to follow each and every procedure. At the end only, the client is able to, or customer is able to get the feature. Okay, there is no way to produce the feature or the component to the customer. Okay, next, if any changes happen in midway, then the test documents along with the requirement documents. Okay, so here if anything changes in the midway, in the middle, okay, then you need to change or you need to update all the things. All the things means from starting to end. For example, if you found some defect here, okay, in high level design, then you need to update, means you need to change that or you need to update that requirement or that what you call features specification, then it will affect user acceptance testing plan and test case. It affects the system integration test plan and test case, and also it affects the functional test plan and functional test case. So if anything changes in the middle, then it will affect all the phases and all the documentation, whatever you have done early. Okay, so that is one of the disadvantages of V and V model. Okay, this is all about V and V model. Okay, next model is Agile. Okay, next model is Agile model, or you can call it as a Agile process. Okay, so we'll try to understand what is Agile. Okay, just we'll go through this diagram so that it will be very clear. Okay, here the same thing, just look at this. There will be a client, there will be a product owner. Product owner is nothing but BA PM or DM, means business analyst or product manager or delivery manager. Okay, so the product owner, we can call it in general like a product owner instead of going for BA, PM or DM, because depending upon the company, these terms may vary or these roles may vary. Okay, so just we are considering it as a product owner. So product owner will be communicating with the client or the customer. So after communication, what they will do? They will try to collect the requirements from the client. Then collecting the requirements, these will be converted into some stories. Here, instead of going for the requirement document, those will be converted into stories. Means whatever the requirements given by the client will be documented as a story. What you call story. Okay. In the upcoming classes, we will try to understand what is story and how it looks like and what are the things are there as a part of story. So as of now, try to understand there will be a story instead of CRS or SRS or BRS. Okay, there will be no customer requirement specification document or business requirement specification document. Instead of this product owner, what they will do, they will try to write a story. Okay, depending upon the customer's requirement. Okay, so and they will try to write different or a number of stories depending upon the requirements given by the client. Okay, so once the stories are ready, those will be there in the backlog. Okay, we'll understand that term also afterwards. But here, let us understand, means just assume there are a number of stories. Okay, those are designed or those are produced by the product owner depending upon the client's requirement. Okay, once these stories are ready, then there will be a sprint planning meeting. Sprint planning meeting is nothing but there will be a meeting to understand how many stories are there and for as of now which story is priority one. Okay, so that they are going to choose or pick that story. Okay, and they are trying to understand what are the things are there as a part of that story, or that story talks about which feature and which functionality. Okay, so this sprint planning meeting will be done within 6 to 8 hours. Means they will try to discuss about the story which they are going to pick and all. Okay, among a number of stories. Okay, so here in this sprint planning meeting, there will be involvement of team. Team is nothing but a testing team, development team, HR. Sometimes HRs might be there, but mainly development team, testing team, product owner, and Scrum Master. Scrum Master is nothing but Scrum Master always facilitates and coaches. Means this person, Scrum Master, is responsible to facilitate this sprint planning meeting. Okay, so here development team, testing team, product owner, as well as Scrum Master will be involved in the sprint planning meeting. Here they will try to select a particular story. Okay, once story is decided, means which story they are going to implement, then they will decide one more process called grooming. There will be grooming. Grooming is nothing but product owner is going to explain, okay, what are the things are there as a part of that story. It is nothing but trying to make the entire team understand what is the requirement of the client and what are there as a part of that story, selected story. Okay, so once that grooming everything is done, it will be decided to implement that story, needs to be implemented or developed. Okay, so they will decide how many days are required or how many weeks are required for implementing of that story. Okay. Basically, this Agile methodology will not be applicable for the features. Those will be implemented for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, or a year. Okay. Here, each and every requirement will be converted into some story, and that story will be having very specific points, and those specific points or features should be implemented within short amount of time or within short period. Okay. Maximum 2 weeks to 3 weeks. 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Okay. So once sprint planning is done, here we selected specific story, and that story is explained by the product owner to the team. Then they will estimate, means how many days need to implement that. It might be 2 to 3 weeks. For example, here we are taking 2 weeks. Okay. So once that is done, sprint iteration. Okay. Sprint iteration will start. Means implementation, actual implementation will be starting, so that when there is actual implementation is started, then there will be daily sprint meeting, or you can call it as a daily sprint. Means there will be a stand-up meeting each and every day. Okay. For around 30 minutes. Okay. There will be a stand-up meeting or sprint meeting every day to understand the things, means what are going, means whether the story implementation is going well or not, or whether they are facing any problem or not, whether they are in the track or not. Okay. Everything will be discussed within short period of time. Okay. It might be at the starting of the day or at the end of the day. There will be a short amount of time catered for the stand up, or you can call it as a sprint meeting. Okay. Then here in this daily sprint, what actually they are going to discuss is what was done yesterday, and what is the plan today, and what are the problems we are having. Okay. In this work. Okay. These type of things will be discussed. Okay. Here it may take 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Okay. So once these things are communicated, if there are any problems, then and there itself it will be resolved. Okay. And it is communicated to the specific person, and it will be resolved. Okay. Then the same process, this will be repeated for 2 weeks. Means for this story we have 2 weeks to implement, so that this process will be repeated. Sprint iteration and daily sprint plan or scrum. Okay. It will be repeated for 2 weeks. Okay. Then at the end of the second week, we'll be having a shippable product. Here this process will be having both implementation and testing. Okay. It is not only development, it will be having, but also testing, what you call activity. Okay. For example, development team is doing their implementation or development for you can call it as a 10 days. Then other 4 days will be having testing activity. If testing people found any bug, it will be communicated again to the development team, and development team is going to fix that. Okay. So it will be happening in these phases. Okay. Then at the end of the second week, we are going to produce some shippable product. Okay. Then it will be reviewed. Okay. There will be a sprint review meeting. Okay. Okay. Here they are mentioned like 4 hours, but it may vary. Okay. They are mentioned like standard time, but sometimes it may take 1 hour, sometimes it may take 2 hours. Okay, it depends upon the story and story points. Okay, so it will be reviewed. Okay, and review means here either development team or testing team will try to walk through that feature. Okay, to the team. Team is nothing but Scrum Master and management team as well as product owner. If everything is fine, then it will be given to the customer. Okay. The sprint preview is nothing but a demonstrative story features. Means here we are going to demonstrate and get feedback from the product owner and prioritize the product backlog item. Then after this is done, then what is the next item to implement from the backlog on this filing stories space, which one should be picked up next. Okay, that will be decided in the sprint review meeting. So this will be this picture explains all about Agile methodology. Agile methodology is very different, what you call software development methodology as compared to older ones like waterfall model, spiral model, and V&V model. Okay, so nowadays all the companies are trying to adapt this Agile technique or Agile methodology for their project. Okay, so let us understand when we can go for Agile methodology or when we can use Agile development model. Okay, this Agile methodology is best suitable for the projects where always new changes needs to be accommodated. Okay, means here if there are frequently changed requirements, means we are getting very frequently changing requirements, then we can follow the Agile methodology, so that here there will be little wastage of cost and effort. As already I explained you or mentioned you, like each and every story will be implemented in smaller amount of period, like 2 weeks, 2 weeks to 3 weeks, right? So that if something changes, some requirement changes for that feature or that story, then to accommodate that change, we can invest a few more days, or we can say we wasted only some days of effort and cost, so that it will not implement impact the budget. It is not impact largely the budget, cost, or what you call timelines of that project. Okay, so that it is best suitable when requirements are changing again and again. Then if customer wants to add a new feature to the existing existing functionality, then here developers need to lose only the work of few days, okay, or sometimes hours. Okay, for example, if already something is implemented and customer don't want that one, then that can be rolled back or that can be reverted back, and here the wastage is only some hours of work or some days of work, that's it. And this is what do you call Agile methodology is unlike waterfall model. Okay, and here because why it is unlike or it is not like waterfall model or spiral model or V&V model is, here we don't have a very large amount of invest, means we are not investing large amount of time in the planning. Okay, so that is one of the main advantage of what you call Agile methodology. Okay, so everything planned very quickly and implemented within shorter period, and if anything changes, then that will be accommodated very easily. So that this Agile methodology is unlike previous models like